What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And finally, there is a big statement from the club when it comes to coaching, because all the sources are pointing now towards Tudor is staying, and there are three very important things the club are willing to do to ensure Tudor is going to succeed. Now, the context is massive to this one, because there's one thing to keep in Tudor, and the second thing is what the expectations are, because the main expectation is to win. Because we were going after Antonio Conte. Now, because you failed to get Antonio Conte, that doesn't mean that next season it's like, oh, we didn't get Conte. Now the aim is not to win. The aim remains the same. So the pressure is insanely high on Tudor and on the club for making this decision. There's no hiding anymore, because you were going for Antonio Conte because you wanted to win ASAP. You wanted to win immediately. You wanted to compete from the get-go. Now the pressure is on Tudor to compete and on the club to make sure Tudor can compete and actually also succeed. So that's what we're going to talk about, and the three big important things the club are going to do to make sure Tudor is going to compete according to Romeo Agresti. Before we get into it, smash the like button, because a lot of people are doing it. It's helping the channel out massively, and that gives me the opportunity to improve certain stuff and do other things. So appreciate that. But let's talk about Tudor. Well, under pressure to win from the get-go. Okay, so the statements are he's going to stay. Now, there are three important things, according to Romeo Cresti, that the club is willing to do to make sure that Tudor is able to succeed. And succeed means winning, because we were going for Antonio Conte. The first one is handing him a new, improved contract. With improved, obviously, maybe the wage, but especially the length of the deal, because now it's a year plus an option. Make it a proper deal. That's what the club is trying to do, to tell Tudor, despite him knowing he's not the first choice, well, we are here and we're gonna back you. That's one. The other thing is the technical staff, handing him help, surrounding him with people who have been there, who've done it, maybe like an athletic trainer from Real Madrid, like experienced people who can help Tudor navigate through it, and also take tasks away from Tudor so he doesn't need to think about certain things. And three, the transfer market, handing him players to compete. Now, all sound extremely obvious, extremely obvious. Obviously, you want the stable contract so the coach feels at peace. You want to give him the players. You want to surround him with the best people, so life is much, much easier for the coach, for the team, however, and so on. Now, the big thing is the pressure aspect, because whatever the club is going to put out or the papers, this is not a rebuild or year zero again. It's not, because the club, by going after Conte, and the entire world knows we were going after Conte, and the club was convinced they were getting Conte, you tell the entire world, next season, we want to win. Now, because you failed to get Antonio Conte, you cannot turn around and be like, you know what, it's a rebuild year. You cannot do that, because you set the expectation, and the expectation, by the way, should be winning and competing. Like, I'm not blaming the club for setting that expectation. I'm blaming them, for setting that expectation right now and going into the season with a coach, in my opinion, who cannot live up to those expectations. Now, I like Tudor as an ex-player, as a person, whatever. He said some things I am not a fan of this season. However, I want him to succeed. There's a difference between wanting Tudor to succeed and believing Tudor to succeed. And succeed, I mean winning. Not top four, all this crap, because I've seen it already. Oh, but he can get us into the top four. That's default. I don't want to talk about top four. I'm sick and tired of it. We need to win. It's as simple as that. We're one of the biggest clubs in the world. We cannot go in year 5 or 6 and talking about them goddamn top four again. It's done. It's over. Get out. Get out with that BS. Because At this club, it's all about winning. That's the only thing that matters. That's literally the slogan of this club. The slogan is not the only thing that matters is getting into top four and maybe winning, if we can. That's not the slogan. We are one of the biggest clubs in the world because we win. That is as simple as that. We win and we had the best players around. One of the best players around. We had ridiculous talent. We were a winning team. That mindset cannot be thrown away. That mindset was set by the club by going for Antonio Conte. So the pressure is on Tudor. Again, I don't feel sorry for him because if you coach Juve, the pressure is on. It's as simple as that. The pressure is also on the club, the management, because you made it clear Tudor's not really your guy. You missed out on your targets. Now you're willing to back Tudor. Now, if it fails, if it backfires massively, and he's getting outcoached by Conte, Allegri, Gasperini, Sarri, maybe Inzaghi if he stays, yes or no, and we fall behind, and you need to make another change mid-season, then what? Are you going to change management again? Are you going to get your top target then when we are an even bigger mess? So a lot is riding on next season. A lot is riding on this decision because you can believe in Tudor, but I said to win. There's a difference. You can believe in Tudor to do a decent job. But if it's not winning or competing or setting us up to win, then it's not a decent job for a club like Juve. That's all I'm trying to say. The standard should be the, goddamn standard. We all watched that Champions League final. That's the standard we should be reaching in time, but we wasted too much time. We cannot waste another season. It's done. Like, time is up. Everybody needs to win. Everybody needs to have that mindset right now, from the club to Tudor. So it's a strong decision. Finally, some clarity, I think. That's all we wanted. Even though Giovanni Albanese said, but after the Club World Cup, I don't want to hear that crap again anymore. It's 3 games in the Club World Cup, maybe 4. That's not where you're going to make a decision on Tudor. With all the players out on loan, players coming back, not signing, forget about that Club World Cup, that you're not going to base your coaching decisions on 3 to 4 games. That's ridiculous. It makes no sense, even with the players playing so many games and now needing to go and play even more games. The quality is not going to be fantastic anyway, how it should be. It's not going to be very serious out there. It's just going to be fun in games. I'm pretty sure about that. Now, you cannot base your opinion on the coach in that regard, but you're going to need to back him. You're going to need to help. What you were planning to do if you got Antonio Conte, maybe not profile of player-wise, but the investment you were trying to make because you were trying to convince Antonio Conte, so you were able, or you were capable and you were willingly able to spend the money to improve the team. You're gonna need to do that for Tudor. This is not an off year. Oh, it's Tudor, so we're not gonna spend that much. We're gonna wait. No, you're gonna need to back him, and it's gonna need to succeed. The pressure is on. It's massive, but the club created the situation by itself. That's it. So Tudor is staying. The club believes in Tudor, but with believing, it means winning. That's it. Because they set that standard by pushing for Antonio Conte. Now you cannot go back and say, we didn't get Conte, so top 4 again. I don't want to hear that. Because if you got Conte, you were not coming out saying top 4 is the goal. And you cannot go into the season saying top 4 is the goal. Who the hell is going to be able to live with that at this moment in time? So anyways, let me know in the comments what you think. Are you happy there's finally some clarity? Do you believe in Tudor? Do you think he will succeed? And do you think the club will back him? I think that's the most important thing, because he's going to need to be back to compete with the others out there who have already a head start on us. So let me know, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will speak to you guys very, very soon.